doesn't have the Houston Response, doesn't have the city networks to connect with, doesn't have, or like, they don't do what you guys do. And it took me coming here being like, I mean, everyone we've talked with, I'm not, that you would know, this is it's like so genuine. It's like, there's nothing like this city vibe wise. Like, everybody comes in, it's all races, all faces, all places, all in the same spotlight. I mean, like, so this is who Houston is, except the difference is there's not a crisis, there's a cause. That's the difference.
For me, it was learning that oil and gas kind of started this because they were huge give backers, if you will.
Right.
So all of their staff were always at all the runs and all this, that, and the third. So between Chevron, Exxon, and all the same company, but we don't have to get into that. But they were everywhere. So it was like, is this cool? Oh yeah, man, you're gonna be so and so and so and so. So you're meeting the chief of police and his wife, who has his auxiliary committee, and they all listen to Magic 102. So they want you to come out and be this presenter because, oh, you know Funky Larry Jones? What? Oh yeah. And we do the sneaker thing with the tux and same thing with the Astros, and it's just this huge volunteer world.
That's right.
But it's so much. The relationships, the connections that come, because all of these little pieces of oil that feed the wheel when it starts to squeak are on these committees, and you get involved. And I said, I've never done the American Red Cross or the NAACP in the same weekend. I've never done the Houston 100 Club or the Urban League in the same weekend. You can be at basically an all-white fundraiser for 2 hours, and you're over here Macedonia, the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, and it's all black congregation in an hour and a half, and I'm like, and I said, this is wild. This is just the most amazing out-of-body experience, because I'm like, do you know where you just left? You just left River Oaks, and now you're driving into the heart of Third Ward.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're in from Woodlands to Greenspoint, man.
So in studio, we have a young man who's about to shake up. In studio, we have a young man who is a part of an organization that's about to bring this city together just a little bit tighter. Why can't I say your name now? Jedediah. Am I close?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll fix it.
I know.
Do I need your last name?
Nope, I don't care.
Do you have a last name? See, most healers and helpers and these little angels that show up aren't really who we think they are, they're just in this form right now, because he's a shift shape. I promise you, this boy's just going to vanish in the thin air when he leaves. This organization probably doesn't even exist. They're just out on a thing somewhere, and he knows what I'm talking about, because I was listening to you on the phone. I said, this is not real. This is not real. Y'all suck at poor Terry, and this is not real. This is sad. But anyway, in 3, 2, 1. Jedediah, welcome to the afternoon drive, the ride with Uncle Funky Larry Jones and funny man Ali Sadiq. Tell me, my friend, what is One Day Houston? What is this?
Yeah, One Day Houston is a moment where we're willing to unite with anyone to do good and no one to do wrong. It's 50,000 volunteers setting aside their logos, their labels, and their egos to serve the greatest problems facing our city. That's April 29th. And then through that moment of service, you get access to celebrate really the power of what love can do and what unity can do at the Toyota Center. You can't buy a ticket to this event. You have to be a part of really social action and social give back to get access. And it's coming to the city. It's been unbelievable to see so many organizations, hundreds of organizations, hundreds of faith communities that are going to be a part of this movement to really, I think, show the power of what love can do, right? Hate's not working. It never has and it never will.
So there's no natural disaster, but you just mentioned something that is plaguing our universe, and it's hate. And we do-gooders, if you will, we tree huggers, we people who plant seeds and love on each other. It's time for us all to come back together and say, hey, we're running this. We really are in control.
That's right.
And we need to help our brothers and our sisters. So are there any central focus Is there any central focus of help, or are we just doing this massive thing of help?
It's a great question. No, there's definitely a lot of things happening. You know, we've been able to in Houston eradicate to date $40 million in medical debt. That's for 31,000 families living no more than twice the poverty line. Please check your mail. I know is when people, and I've been in debt before, you don't open mail because it's usually your creditor asking for something. But there's a high probability you got a letter in the mail that says on behalf of One Day Houston and our partners, your debt's been eradicated. We've shipped over the last year about $10 million of what people would call in the nonprofit space goods in kind, or GIK. And what does this look like for the listener? This is beds or dressers or car seats or cribs or refrigerators, basically the necessities you need to have a home.
That just show up.
Just show up. Yeah, what do the people do? No, you go
No, I mean these goods and services, they just show up.
Yeah, we've been working on.
But but they don't know you've been working on this.
Yeah, well, our part, to be honest, the campaign's been built around the incredible community champions like yourself that have been loving the city and caring for the city. You don't have to look far in this city to find a human being that's willing to help anybody and to love this city.
Yes, sir.
And the beautiful thing about this is it's really built around the best in class in Houston. I would almost say it's Houston born, it's Houston built, it's Houston bred, and it's best in class NGOs doing what they've already been doing.
As we like to say, it is in our DNA. It is in our DNA. To give back it's real. So, out of curiosity, when did this thought come together? When did you and your angels decide, okay, it's time to do this?
That is such a good question. I think if you probably look at the time throughout really 2019, 2020, hate was dominating every headline. Obviously, this political tension that hasn't stopped. The racial divide, which has obviously been an issue forever, but now just was really starting to, I think, grab the attention of everyone to say, hey, what are we really doing? And I think as we were listening to, and everybody was listening to the narratives and what was being sold and what was being shared and what was being said, we just had to say there's got to be another way. And I think that's what, Love Has No Limits and these one day moments, One Day LA, now One Day Houston is all about. It's about, hey, what's really going to work when we think about the future of our kids? What's really going to make a difference when we think about changing our city? Houston has outrageous, beautiful, incredible things that make this city what it is, but it also has challenges. It also has real issues. And this is an opportunity for us to address those issues before a crisis at home becomes a crisis in our streets.
How do we help our listeners, our friends, our neighbors get into this, get involved with this, and or if they need some of the services and love that you guys have? How do we connect?
One, stay tuned at Majic. Obviously, stay tuned because you guys are going to be the voice letting people know how they get involved and what services are available. Anyone can go to onedayhouston.com and you can easily join the team. You simply pick a location near you based on proximity or a passion that you have. So that day there's going to be medical brigades, sports clinics, beautification projects, block cleanup, graffiti abatement. We're giving out prescription eyeglasses, tons of GIK, goods in kind being distributed. And you can do what you love to do, and that earns you access to the stadium that night. So go to onedayhouston.com and simply find out more. And of course, as we get close to the week of the event, we'll populate every location where families who aren't a part of the team and desperately need help can go find it. You literally will have a map of a couple hundred what we call serve centers, which are hubs of service, and you can go, hey, I need dental treatment and I don't have dental insurance. I can take my family here on this day. Hey, I have an 8th grader who can't see. He needs prescription glasses. There's about 5,000 students in Houston. We have the data. Can't get educated because they can't see the board. They need prescription glasses. We have a solution for that. You could sit here and say, man, my baby's sleeping on the ground. I've never had a comfortable bed. We're driving illegally without a car seat. We have locations that you can go get these resources. And this is a moment where Houston gets to do what Houston does, like no one does it. Come together and love our neighbor, uniting with anyone to do good, no one to do wrong, as Frederick Douglass once said. Frederick Douglass 101.
Not only the compassion, but as a young man who once watched a program while growing up in segregated Montgomery, Alabama, There was a program that used to come on in the afternoon after I got home from school. There was a guy who would write a check and tell his associate to find this person and give this person that check. The check was for $1 million. The name of the show was called The Millionaire. And I always wanted to be that guy.
Mm.
I wanted to be that guy that could just eradicate or help in any given moment. Church needs a new van. Either get the van fixed or buy a new van. Church needs mortgage paid. Pay the mortgage or pay it out all right so they don't have to worry about that anymore. That's the guy I really, really, really wanted to be.
Mm.
And then I learned, okay, you won't get $1 million to do it, but that $10 or $20 or $25, if you will serve in a greater, if not greater capacity. So this kind of service and the movement of goods and facilities and the insight, the day of hope, the compassion for someone who has been so down, so distrusting, so, oh, Larry, I love you. I've been listening for years. I know your reputation. I know you're good, but baby, this is just about too good to be true. Well, I just want you to know that there really isn't anything that's too good not to be true.
Mm.
Really isn't. And all you have to do is listen. We'll get you to the right
Serve center.
We'll get you to the right service center you need. And if you want to help volunteer, you can do that as well. Because I know all of these young retirees, they gotta have all this money. You just retired from the plant and you're sitting around thinking, so what am I gonna do with my day? Ta-da, I got some work for you. For all of my law enforcement guys and girls who just retired, here you go. Now, some of you are leaving HISD. All of my school teachers, I need you. Speaking of school teachers, all of you alumni members of your various sororities and fraternities, and I know you have your own set of things that you do during the year, but one day Houston would love to borrow you on an off day, and you can even wear your colors. You can also, so all of my Greeks and all of my sororities and all of my fraternities, and I mean all of them, you wear your colors and you show the world that your service is what it's all about. And